Hello everyone, my name is Herkeph and welcome back to my incredibly stupid hardcore world where I'm only allowed to use wooden tools and leather armor. Today we're starting off in our small villager trading setup with the exciting task of re-rolling trades as well as leveling them up to hopefully get even more good trades. My main goal of this episode is to get fully enchanted because in order for me to actually progress in this world, I'll need some decent tools. And armor will probably help keeping us with staying alive. In order to stay somewhat focused on what's important, I set up a couple signs by our villagers of what enchantments were the top priority, and while re-rolling for different trades, we also made sure to use the lanterns we got to make the house we built somewhat more habitable. I also killed a bunch of squids to hopefully make the leveling of our librarians a bit easier. So far, we have been going about this in a very peasant-like fashion where we go along a river and mine clay in order to get some emeralds. But at some point, we're going to need a better source. But for now, we'll continue with our peasant ways just to get us started. I then started labeling our librarians, so I won't have to shuffle through them like someone with way too much hubris on Tinder. And as we unlocked more enchantments, I started sorting them so we can keep track of what we need, and started enchanting my armor, so I won't die as easily. The second thing I decided to enchant was a wooden pickaxe of the fortune variety. But unfortunately, I had run out of levels, which was rather problematic. So I went back to trading books with my librarians, as well as re-rolling some trades in hopes of getting enough experience to fully enchant my pickaxe. And after an embarrassingly long time, I had finally made my first fully enchanted pickaxe. Just like any mentally stable adult, I got curious about how fast a wooden pickaxe can mine in a game made for literal children, so I decided to take it out for a spin. This is when I realized that wooden tools can actually insta-mine magma, which is incredibly handy, as we will need it for some other farms. And since I'm a very greedy young man, I decided to also steal some gold from the local wildlife. And in no time, we had managed to get ourselves a full shulker worth of magma. And what's even more impressive is that we got it without breaking our very fragile and overcomplicated stick. But now, since we actually had a really good pickaxe, I thought it would make sense to get another farm up and running. So I started clearing out an area right next to our villages where I was intending to build a sugarcane farm. And this is when my 2 brain cells left me to buy some milk, and I broke my good pickaxe as a result. I then had to get myself another god pick, which I did by trading with my villagers to get the books and experience I needed. However, that horrific loss aside, we will need some redstone for our sugarcane farm, and in order to get redstone, we will need to get some clerics. So I quickly popped into the nether to pick up a couple blaze rods and converted 4 villagers to zombies. I then came to the realization that I only had 2 golden apples, so 2 of them were sent back to their lord and savior. But even with the 2 deaths, that we can, of course, not blame on anyone, I had managed to get my hands on at least some redstone, which is used instantly on my soon-to-be sugarcane farm. And since we also got some glowstone in the process of leveling up our cleric, I decided to use it to light up the farm. I then continued trading with my villagers and continued working on the farm as I got more redstone. The design I'm using is based on the mud block. Because the mud block isn't counted as a full block, hoppers are able to pick up any items that are on top of it. However, what I didn't think about was that this design uses a lot of hoppers. So many in fact, that I decided to enchant an axe just to get enough wood. And after a while, the sugarcane farm was finally completed. I then thought it would probably be nice to simply do a bit of cleanup and make things look at least a tiny bit more presentable. I then realized that I still hadn't gotten all of the enchantment trades I wanted and continued re-rolling trades once more. I quickly got tired of doing that, so I procrastinated by expanding our storage space in our house. I then returned to our villager setup with a new and refreshed hatred for my life and realized that I will need to cure even more librarians to get all the enchantments we need. So I started brewing up another batch of potions and went to the Nether again to collect some gold. I then started converting villagers once more and spent even more time rerolling trades. And in between leveling up my librarians and rerolling trades, I decided to start using some bookshelves to make our base's interior look a bit better. I also added a few dark oak trapdoors, as well as some pots to make it look even more homely. And eventually, we had gotten all of the enchantments we needed to fully enchant our leather helmet, so I popped into the Nether for some quartz mining to apply all of our enchantments. I then got challenged to a 1 vs 1 by an angry moaning cloud, which made me realize that I am indeed boosted. Nevertheless, I spent some time mining quartz to get some levels. I then made my way back to the safety of the overworld and decided to get myself a fully enchanted sword as well. However, the last enchantment I wanted to apply to my sword cost 33 levels, which was rather steep, so I decided to go back to decorating my house with some flowers. Once the house had a somewhat presentable interior, I flew off to find myself some turtles. I then proceeded to kill a few to get some seagrass and bred a couple turtles to get some turtle eggs. And whilst I was out, I seized the opportunity to grab some sandstone as well. I then went back to finish the interior of my house and get a bunch of glass from my villagers, which conveniently got me enough levels to finish enchanting my sword. And after trading some more, I also got my helmet fully enchanted along with all of our other armor. And with all of our fully enchanted armor, I decided it was time to dye it, to make myself look slightly less like an absolute noob. I dyed all of my armor grey to match my personality and a diamond armor trim, just to flex on all the other players in my single player world. And there you have it, the 4th episode of our incredibly stupid hardcore world. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a like and subscribe if you did, and I'll see you in the next one.